Hello, everyone. My name is Kayana, and I did my leadership interview on one of my fellow coworkers and friends I've worked with for a long time at my part-time job, Iris Cortez. So we'll just jump right in and go over my experiences with the interview. So who is Iris Cortez? Iris is a manager and supervisor at Isaac's Restaurants. She's been managing at Isaac's for 10 plus years. She's worked at various locations. She's currently working at a location located in Lemoyne. Um, Iris is one of my good friends. She's also a coworker of mine. She's a daughter. She's a mom. She's all of those things. She's authentic and genuine. That's how I would describe Iris as a leader. She's very experienced in the restaurant field. She's been working in the restaurant business for 10 plus years as well. Beyond that, probably a little more than that. She's very skilled at what she does. So I thought she'd be a good person to interview for this project because I find her to be someone that is admirable and I consider her to be a good leader. So why I chose Iris. So to further explain why I chose Iris, like I mentioned before, she's very skilled in her position. She's worked at Isaac's for a long time, and she started from the bottom. She worked her way up. She started working in Delhi, and she eventually worked her way up to become manager. So she knows about all the different positions within the company, within the restaurant. Um, she's admirable. She's confident. She's also a motivational leader. She pushes her employees, to be the best that they can be. And um, she's been in her position for a very long time. 10 plus years is a long time to be managing. So she definitely has a lot of skills and I think information to offer when it comes to leadership and management in a restaurant perspective and just in general. Iris strives to make sure that her employees, um, that their well being is being thought of. She also ensures that the company values are being followed as well. So she kind of combines like being personable with also doing her job like together. When it comes to leadership and ethics, I think Iris is a good example of an ethical leader. She ensures to make sure that the work environment is fair, but not only that, she's also making sure that rules, principles, regulations, all those things are being followed. Um, so I mentioned the principle-based framework in my paper when talking about Iris because this framework focuses on principles that we should follow and why we should follow these principles. So in her work, I think Iris does well at this. For example, she's worried about food safety, food laws, regulations, making sure employees are following these things to the T so that people aren't getting sick, things of that nature. Um, and there's plenty of other ways how she's an ethical leader as well, but she basically takes the rules and explains why we should follow these rules, and she also shows why following these rules is beneficial to not only the employees but the company itself. Empowerment and ethical culture. I think Iris is a very empowering leader. She makes sure that her employees have a voice and that they're always heard. And as far as ethical culture, I think she does a good job at creating this because she's an ethical leader. There's a positive work culture at Isaac's, I think, because of Iris. And a lot of employees would report the same, report her as hardworking, a good leader. She's making sure everyone's heard, but she's also making sure that the core values and principles of the company are still being followed at the same time. Um, and I think Iris is unique because she kind of combines these core values of the company with her own values and kind of creates this environment that is both approachable, but you can learn from it as well. Um, and I've learned that when employees have leaders that are more ethical, and empower their employees. It leads to better reporting, like better rapport between the leader and the employee, and it ensures that the employee will probably follow behind the leader when it comes to behaving in this manner. Um, and just to wrap this up, as I mentioned, she speaks up, but she also listens. So if you're dealing with something like an ethical issue, I think Iris is the perfect person to go to talk about it because she understands all sides of things. My reflection of this project, basically, I would say the questions that I thought of and came up with were insightful, because they provoked answers that gave me a lot of information about leadership and how to be a good leader. I also learned that there's leaders all around us. When I first started this project, I wasn't sure who I was going to interview. But then Iris came to mind, and then it made me realize like there are a lot of good leaders all around. Um, I think that companies that have good leaders like Iris can be more successful because they have someone who is, pushing the core values of the company, but at the same time, they're still being personable. They're still making sure that people are feeling heard, and that's important when you're trying to run a good company or restaurant, for this example. And it allowed me to take notes on how to be a good leader in the future, and I think overall it was a unique experience. My apologies. So PowerPoint stopped responding, but just to wrap up the conclusion, I would say that this experience has gave me more insight to my future career as a behavior consultant because I'll have to oversee behavior therapists, making sure they're ethically implementing treatment plans and doing ethical therapy with their clients. And overall, I just think that this was a good experience to just further learn more about leadership and what it's like to be a good leader.